Imagine for a moment that you are holding the most powerful weapon in existence. It doesn't fire bullets. It doesn't explode. Yet in the right hands, it can move mountains, shatter obstacles, and transform your entire life. That weapon is your mind. Every single thought you allow to take root, every belief you nurture, every decision you make in the silence of your own head shapes the reality you live in. Too many people hand over the reins of this weapon to fear, doubt, and distractions and then wonder why life feels out of control. But what if you could take complete command? What if you could direct every spark of thought, every flicker of emotion, every ounce of focus toward creating the life you deserve? The truth is, the battles you fight on the outside are won or lost in the arena inside your head. Your mind is not just a place where thoughts happen. It is your ultimate tool, your secret weapon, your launching pad for success, freedom, and fulfillment. And the moment you decide to seize control of it, that's the moment everything changes. Today, we're going to explore how to master your mind, how to turn it into a weapon that works for you instead of against you, and how the simple act of control over your focus, your beliefs, your energy, can catapult you into levels of achievement and joy you never imagined possible. Every moment of your life, you are faced with choices, some so subtle you barely notice them, and others so profound they shape the entire trajectory of your existence. At the core of these choices lies a fundamental truth. The power to decide how you think, how you feel, and how you act resides entirely within you. This is the essence of the first key point. Understanding that your mind is not merely a passive instrument, but a conscious force that responds to the commands you give it. Most people live as if their thoughts are uncontrollable, as if they are at the mercy of external circumstances. But the reality is profoundly different. Every reaction to fear, every surrender to doubt, every rush to frustration begins with a choice. And every choice stems from a single point of power: the awareness that you can control your mind. Recognizing this power is like finding the master switch to your life. When you understand that you have control over your focus, over the narrative you tell yourself, over the meaning you assign to events, you step into a position of immense authority over your results. It is not about ignoring reality or pretending that challenges do not exist. It is about taking responsibility for the lens through which you experience those challenges. When you decide to consciously direct your thoughts, you also determine your emotions, your energy, and your actions. Fear, anxiety, and self-doubt are not invincible forces. They are responses that thrive when left unchecked. By making the deliberate choice to focus on empowering thoughts, you weaken their grip and strengthen your capacity to act decisively and purposefully. This principle extends to every area of life: relationships, career, health, personal growth, because nothing outside of you has the power to dominate your experience unless you allow it. The person who masters the art of choice does not wait for motivation to arrive or for circumstances to become perfect. They recognize that mastery begins in the mind with a decision, a commitment, and the consistent practice of choosing thoughts that serve their highest potential. Every morning, every conversation, every challenge presents an opportunity to exercise this power, to decide whether you will respond from a place of fear or from a place of clarity, strength, and vision. The key lies in awareness, in recognizing the moment when a thought arises, pausing before reacting, and making a conscious choice that aligns with your goals and values, turning the mind from a reactive instrument into a precise and intentional tool. Your mind is far more than a collection of random thoughts or fleeting emotions. It is the most powerful weapon you possess, capable of creating or destroying your life depending on how it is wielded. Many people underestimate this truth, living as if external circumstances dictate their outcomes, when in reality, the true battlefield is inside their own head. When you begin to see your mind as a weapon, you start to understand the immense responsibility and opportunity that comes with it. A weapon in the wrong hands can cause harm, but in the hands of someone who knows how to aim it, it can achieve extraordinary results. The power of your mind lies in its ability to focus, to strategize, and to transform thought into action. Every innovation, every breakthrough, every triumph in human history began as a controlled and directed thought in someone's mind. This is not abstract, it is practical. When you train your mind to recognize patterns, solve problems, and maintain clarity under pressure, you are sharpening a weapon that no one can take from you. However, just as any weapon requires skill, your mind requires discipline. Left unchecked, becomes reactive, prone to fear, doubt, and distraction. It begins to fight against you rather than for you, feeding insecurities, amplifying setbacks, and eroding confidence. But when you intentionally guide your thoughts, when you cultivate habits that strengthen focus, resilience, and strategic thinking, your mind becomes unstoppable. You start to see challenges not as barriers, but as opportunities, setbacks as lessons, and uncertainty as a playground for creativity and problem solving. The person who wields their mind effectively does not wait for perfect conditions or external validation. They act decisively because their weapon, their mind, is always ready, always sharp, and always under their control. Mental clarity becomes the foundation for every action you take, every decision you make, and every outcome you achieve. It allows you to prioritize effectively, act decisively, and remain calm and resourceful when others falter. The mastery of this weapon is not instantaneous. It requires consistent practice, self-awareness, and the courage to confront uncomfortable truths about your thoughts and beliefs. But the rewards are immeasurable. A trained mind empowers you to take ownership of your life, to influence your environment, and to achieve levels of performance and fulfillment that most people never imagine. In essence, understanding that your mind is a weapon transforms the way you approach every situation, every challenge, and every goal, because once you accept that the battlefield is internal, you realize that victory is entirely within your control. One of the most significant barriers to personal growth and achievement is the presence of limiting beliefs, those invisible chains we accept as truths about ourselves, our abilities, and the world around us. These beliefs are not born in a vacuum. They are cultivated through repeated experiences, societal conditioning, and internalized fears. Over time, they become automatic filters through which we interpret reality, quietly dictating our choices and actions. The challenge is that most people are unaware of the extent to which these beliefs control their lives. They act as invisible obstacles, creating self-imposed ceilings that keep potential untapped and dreams unfulfilled. Breaking these limiting beliefs requires first recognizing them, bringing awareness to thoughts and assumptions that have been operating beneath the surface. This is not a trivial exercise. It is a process that demands honesty, courage, and persistence. Once identified, these beliefs can be challenged and reframed. Instead of allowing thoughts like, "I'm not capable," or "this is impossible for me," to dictate action, you consciously replace them with empowering alternatives that expand possibilities. The mind is highly adaptable, and when repeatedly fed constructive and confident messages, it begins to internalize these as new truths, reshaping your perception of what is achievable. This process also requires confronting fear, the fear of failure, rejection, or the unknown. Fear often masquerades as wisdom or caution, convincing us that staying within old patterns is safer than risking growth. Yet the reality is that remaining captive to limiting beliefs is far more restrictive than facing fear head-on. By actively challenging these mental barriers, you create space for innovation, creativity, and bold action. Every time you question a belief that has held you back, you expand your capacity to perform, to achieve, and to experience life more fully. It is also essential to understand that this is not a one-time effort, but an ongoing practice. Your mind will naturally attempt to revert to familiar patterns under stress, pressure, or doubt. The difference between those who achieve extraordinary results and those who remain stuck lies in the discipline to continually examine, challenge, and reframe their internal narrative. When you embrace this process, you begin to see limitations not as permanent truths, but as temporary obstacles to be navigated, understood, and ultimately overcome. This shift in mindset transforms every action, every decision, and every opportunity because the removal of mental barriers allows energy, focus, and creativity to flow unimpeded, creating momentum that propels growth in ways that were previously unimaginable. The power of breaking limiting beliefs is that it replaces resignation with possibility, hesitation with courage, and doubt with conviction, unlocking potential that was always within reach, but never fully realized until consciously liberated from the confines of the mind. Focus and clarity are the cornerstones of achieving extraordinary results, yet they are often overlooked in the chaos of daily life. The human mind has an incredible capacity to process information, generate ideas, and solve complex problems, but when attention is scattered, energy is wasted, and potential is left untapped. True focus is not merely the ability to pay attention, it is the deliberate choice to direct mental energy toward what matters most while filtering out distractions, noise, and trivial concerns. Clarity, on the other hand, is the understanding of your goals, your priorities, and the steps required to achieve them. Without clarity, focus becomes aimless, and even the most disciplined effort can lead nowhere. Together, focus and clarity act as a magnifying lens, concentrating your mental and emotional resources on the actions that produce meaningful results. People who struggle to achieve their potential often fall victim to mental clutter, letting their attention bounce from one stimulus to another, reacting to every interruption, and allowing external pressures to dictate their direction. This reactive state not only diminishes performance, but also undermines confidence and breeds frustration. Developing focus requires intentional practice, the cultivation of habits that strengthen attention, and the discipline to return the mind to the task at hand whenever it wanders. It also requires prioritization, deciding which goals are worth the full measure of your energy and which are distractions masquerading as opportunities. Clarity is the partner to focus. It provides the roadmap and the why behind every action. When you are clear about your objectives, your values, and the impact you want to create, your mind naturally aligns and your focus becomes effortless. Decisions become faster, actions more decisive, and your ability to navigate challenges improves dramatically. Focus and clarity also amplify creativity and problem solving because a concentrated mind can explore possibilities deeply and see connections that scattered attention misses. In addition, clarity reduces anxiety and doubt because it eliminates the uncertainty about what steps to take next, replacing hesitation with purposeful action. Achieving this level of mental precision does not happen by accident. It is the result of conscious training, reflection, and the repeated choice to direct attention intentionally. By mastering focus and clarity, you essentially create a mental environment where your weapon, the mind, is honed, precise, and unstoppable, capable of cutting through obstacles, identifying opportunities, and driving performance at the highest level. This combination becomes the engine that powers results, turning potential into action, ideas into outcomes, and vision into reality, providing the leverage necessary to elevate every area of life and to consistently operate at peak performance even in the face of complexity, pressure, or uncertainty. Action is the bridge that connects the power of the mind to the reality you experience, yet too many people underestimate its importance. Thinking, planning, and visualizing are essential, but without immediate and consistent action, even the most brilliant ideas remain dormant, and the potential of a trained mind goes unrealized. The moment you take control of your thoughts and direct them toward positive, empowering outcomes, the next step is to act decisively and with purpose. Procrastination, hesitation, and overthinking are the enemies of progress, and they often arise from fear, the fear of failure, rejection, or making the wrong choice. But in reality, the act of doing, of stepping forward with courage, is what transforms uncertainty into confidence, ideas into results, and dreams into achievements. Taking action is not about waiting for perfect conditions or for motivation to strike. It is about creating momentum and allowing the energy generated by purposeful movement to feed itself. Each small step forward compounds, building confidence, clarity, and competence, and creating a rhythm of progress that propels you further than planning alone ever could. The power of immediate action also reinforces control over your mind. When you act, you are not only producing external results, but you are training your mind to trust itself, to overcome doubt, and to embrace discipline. Action strengthens belief, and belief fuels further action in a cycle that accelerates growth and achievement. Moreover, decisive action signals to the mind that you are committed, focused, and unshakable, helping to silence internal resistance and negative self-talk. It transforms abstract goals into tangible outcomes and uncertainty into measurable progress. People who achieve extraordinary success understand that hesitation is costly and that the ability to move swiftly, adjust quickly, and persist relentlessly is what separates those who succeed from those who merely dream. Action is the proving ground for mental mastery because it tests your focus, your discipline, and your commitment, revealing both strengths and areas for improvement. By consistently taking steps, no matter how small, you build momentum that compounds over time, creating an unstoppable force that drives results and reinforces the power of your mind as a weapon. Each action taken with clarity, intention, and courage becomes a building block, shaping not only your external reality but also strengthening your internal landscape, cultivating resilience, confidence, and a sense of agency that cannot be taken away. The critical insight is that the mind alone is not enough. It requires action to convert potential into performance, thoughts into achievements, and vision into reality, demonstrating that mastery is not just about knowing what to do, but about having the courage, discipline, and persistence to do it consistently and with unwavering commitment.